Worst thing you could possibly do is give someone who is a mess, disorganized, not neat, and give them a hobby with a bunch of yarn and tiny things that they can lose all the time. I'm going to be talking to y'all about the difference between crochet and knitting, and a little bit towards the end I'm going to talk about Tunisian crochet, which if you guys don't know Tunisian crochet, it is my magic wand crochet, and it basically is a mix of both. I'll talk about it later. But first, I'm going to introduce each one and the current projects I'm working on. Two of which I started today, which was just a terrible plan because I really had to finish my crochet projects because for some reason I cannot say no. I have been saying yes to so many people and been like, oh yeah, just send me your inspo. They send me inspo on Pinterest. This tutorial is nowhere to be found, so I can't even post tutorials on YouTube right now because I need a tutorial. I agreed to make my grandma a cardigan. I'm using double crochets, so it is taking me a little bit, but it's pretty. Usually when I make cardigans, I put some kind of gap in them, but we're gonna make this one nice and snug for my granny. But it's of course taking time, and since it's taking time, I don't always want to crochet it. So then I'm like, oh, let me just confuse myself and let me just make this harder and act like I don't have 50 tops I agreed to crochet for people. This is crochet. As you know, or may not know, it takes one hook, and every crocheter will get told that, oh, what are you knitting? No, I'm not knitting. Next I have knitting, and right now I have literally, oh god, dropped all these loops. Just taught myself how to knit like yesterday. So this is knitting. This is where we're gonna have two hooks, and you're just going crazy at it. On the crochet, 2 hooks, and then lastly we have a bit of a combination of both. This is my magic wand, and this is Tunisian crochet, another thing that I have taught myself today. Why did I teach myself how to knit and crochet and not finish my grandma's cardigan is beyond me. And yes, because of this, my room is a mess. And it's a neat little variation of crochet, and I think it is so cute. You know, you always gotta learn new things, especially since it's summer and I have time too. And you know, this is my life. I just love to crochet and yarn. I just love to yarn. But today I'm gonna be teaching y'all which yarn you should yarn. It's like, no. So to start off with crochet, we have a few pros. Why not crochet while I talk about crochet? Crocheting for me has always been so easy, and I think for a lot of people in comparison to knitting, it is so much more easy. So much easier. Yeah, there we go. And it's also fast. Once you get the hang of it, it does not take long, depending on your project. The way the yarn moves, you can build up a lot of stuff and a lot of stuff fast, depending on your yarn hook and size, but still, in comparison to the 2 stickers, and I've just always loved it, and I've been able to do it during my schoolwork and just watching videos and studying, and it's just so calming and relaxing because I know what I'm doing and I'm making beautiful things. Another thing about crocheting is that it's unique. A lot of people say you cannot replicate crocheting on a machine, but knitting, they have those machines, and you know, you're gonna see a lot of stuff can be made by machines, not all is handmade, but crocheting is a unique thing that happens with a hook, so you can't always just replicate it. And also, it is so pretty. You know, you can do a lot of different unique stitches that make it so beautiful and nice. Even this little thing, it's all nice, and you can do a bunch of different variations, and I love crochet. I just love it. The cons are with crocheting and garment wise, making clothes and stuff, the fabric is very bulky, which, you know, is a pro or con depending on what you like. A lot of times I make cardigans because it does keep you really warm depending on the stitch you use and everything, but it's very bulky. Like, no matter the stitch you use, most of the time, like unless you're using a really thin yarn and slip stitches or something, you're insane. But you're gonna get a bulky material, so sometimes people don't like that, like on crop tops or anything. You don't want to have like this I'm wearing right now, obviously not made by yarn, but it's thin. and that is good for summertime. Like, you don't want to have bulky things. But a lot of crochet tops you're gonna see made on TikTok, on YouTube, it's all used around the same yarn. Like, you're usually gonna use yarn weight 4, and that makes it super bulky. And oftentimes you're gonna see with crochet tops, they're all going to be with a tie in the back. Not all, like, you can get away with some, but usually there's a tie somewhere because crochet stitches and squares or whatever the heck are not stretchy. Even if they are, even if I was to stretch this, it's not too good. So like, when I have to wear tops, my shoulders, okay, they don't look big, but in comparison to the rest of my shoulders, maybe they do look big. But if they do, ouch. But right now they don't look too big, but they are big in comparison to my waist. Like, I'm not saying that I got a snatch waist or anything, but compared to my shoulders, I do. Like, it's crazy. So when I'm putting things over my head to put it on, my shoulders are all stretching it out, and then it's all baggy by the time it gets down. So it's like, I can't make it small because it won't get over my shoulders. I can't make it big because then it's all loose around my waist. Unless, that's why I usually make cardigans and oversized sweaters and stuff like that, because it can be loose. It's fine. But if you're looking for the tops and shirts and stuff like that, and even pants, because hips are bigger than legs, like, you always have a wider part of your body, it's not the top choice. On top of that, a lot of times with tops, you're gonna get holes. Especially if you do make it smaller than you wanted, it's gonna have holes. Like, even now, you can see, you can see through this. That is not always preferable, because sometimes, you know, you don't always want to have to wear a bra underneath. You can't always do that. So with tops, you want to not have the holes. That is not always helpful. And the stitches that do require to not have holes in it, it's just, once again, super bulky and it's difficult. But with single crochets, it just takes forever. No one is trying to make a whole single crochet project unless you are, I never can pronounce this word, but I'm a memory. And sometimes you can get a not so neat look. Obviously, to most people, this is fine and people are not too picky. But if I'm making a shirt, I really do not like it to be in this looking. I like it to be really neat, and I want it to look like actual clothes, like things that I bought from the store. And it doesn't always have the super neat look. Sometimes, I mean, most of the time you can tell it's crocheted and people love that, but if you're not always trying to go for that and you want to look super neat, crocheting is not the vibe. Time to put this down. Now we're gonna get to knitting. I swear I was just doing so good at this, and now, not the camera's on, I can't do anything apparently. But with knitting, it is beautiful, but like, this just looks, okay, I'm using the wrong yarn. You really should not use weight 4 yarn unless they tell you to, but most of the times they're going to use the really skinny little yarn. I don't know the name of it yet, but it's like a finger weight yarn. I could totally be making that up, but it's really little yarn, and that's what we're going to see a lot of tops in, so you can barely even see the V's, but I love me a good V. Like, these little things are so pretty, and I love them from shirts and clothes, and that's really what I've been trying to learn, because it just looks so neat. Like, the clothes that you're gonna see in the store look like they were knitted. Most sweaters you see, I mean, maybe they weren't actually handmade, but most of the times they're not gonna be. But if you can make your own homemade clothes and make like they were bought, like you see a $500 sweater online and now you can make it so pretty however you want it, then why wouldn't you? And another great thing about knitting, like, this fabric is so stretchy, like always. So it can be form-fitting and it's so pretty, and I just love it. It really gives that professional look. And on top of that, the fabric itself is thin. So like I was saying before, crochet, it's bulky. So like, you can't always just have that thin look. And even this, it gets thinner because people use a lot smaller yarn. So it gets thinner and it's so beautiful. If I could have learned this before I learned how to crochet, maybe life would be better, because it's really the transition that I think is making me lose my mind. But the thing with knitting is beauty is pain. If you want that nice look, you're gonna need to take more time out of your calendar. This takes time. Like, this took a minute. Okay, I could probably finish my cardigan in the amount of time that's dragging it, but it took me a while. and the only thing motivating me is me looking down and seeing my bees. And I am getting the hang of it. I mean, the same as crocheting, you do it, the more you do it, the more you're gonna get used to it. Like, eventually I will not have to look down and interrupt the video to knit. But right now, I need all the focus it takes. And it is difficult. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how people do this. And I'm using thick yarn, so I can't even imagine doing this with smaller yarn. But you're gonna see a lot of times a crocheter learn how to knit because, you know, it's just easier, basic to more complex, but more pretty. Not necessarily more pretty, that's an opinion. But I just think it looks so nice and neat. Like, it gives you more of that professional look, but it is so difficult. Not so difficult, but definitely harder than crocheting. And that brings us to my last one. So this also does take my focus. Tunisian crochet. So right now I am making a bag. And I just learned how to do this today, but since I know how to crochet, why wouldn't I know how to magic wand crochet? I also adore this way too. So it is a mix of both. There is a knit stitch, not the stitch I'm using, but there's a knit stitch that makes it look like knitting. And if you can kind of tell, like, obviously not the same, but mad loops here and mad loops here. So it kind of gives you that look, but again, it's not two, it's just one. I think it is also neater than crocheting, and it's not gonna give you holes because it is so tight. So I'm gonna use, this gives you a nice thick material. Again, kind of like crocheting, but it's thicker. And because it's kind of like taking the tightness and no gaps of knitting and putting it with thick crocheting. So it is a thicker material, which is so good for blankets and obviously for bags because it gives you that good durability. I'm also gonna line my bag, but it helps. It just makes it long lasting and warm and cozy. So it is so nice. But the thing with this, it does hurt my hands, which we don't need because I will be crocheting as long as I live. So I need my hands to be healthy. I do have to take breaks with this a lot. At least maybe it's right now, my hands will get used to it. But since I just started, it does hurt my hands because my hook, as many hooks do, this, as you can see, is not just a long straight line. It has this thing that makes ergonomic. I really never know words. I could tell you the first letter of a lot of words, but I cannot tell you the rest of the word. But it's like good for your hands. Good for your hands word. And it doesn't hurt your hands and it's not as much. But with this, it's just straight pain. But it really just does take getting used to. I have to learn new techniques because even people who start crocheting for the first time, knitting for the first time, their hands hurt too. So all this is just adjusting, but it does hurt. But I really think if you know how to crochet, this is such a fun little variation and it is so nice. It's so pretty, nice little mix in between knitting and crocheting, and I think it is so useful. I got a bunch of hooks for literally under, I think like $10, under $10. Maybe it's $9 on Amazon, and they were so cute and little pretty ones, and I just am having so much fun learning new things because you should always learn new things. But I'm learning the same thing in a new way. But it counts. I hope you guys enjoyed my ramble about the 3 things I'm doing right now. If you like this video and you want to see more, give me a like and subscribe. I appreciate it so much. And comment down below which one you're going to do, which one you're going to try, which one you like more, which one you currently do, projects you're working on. If you like my video, comment. Okay, I want to talk to y'all. I want friends. I want crochet friends. So thank you. Bye bye.